You might be wondering why I'm talking to you today about quitting smoking or vaping when this is mostly a channel dedicated to pain relief. Well, smoking hurts. It hurts your physical cells. It hurts your emotional self. It hurts your wallet, and it dampers your freedom. That's right. If you are so addicted to something, which nicotine is one of those things, right? When you're addicted to nicotine, you can't go on a 12-hour flight without being in a total panic about how you're going to get a nicotine fix, or going to go visit someone like grandma or your mom, and how are you going to get your nicotine fix when you're not supposed to smoke around those people that you love. Nicotine comes with so many stigmas, and it's so addictive. So today we're going to talk about some of the most effective ways I've seen to help people quit smoking or vaping. And let's be clear, vaping is bad for you, smoking is bad for you. I'm not here to distinguish which one is better for you than the other. Smoking and vaping are one and the same because it is still nicotine and you're still putting something in your lungs. Let's talk about how you can quit in a way that is not as hard as going cold turkey. I was just reading an article today about the FDA's decision. Are they going to ban some of these vaping products or are they not? And they're asking for more time right now. But those vaping products that people love might be on the chopping block. And so I decided to take a break from my regular programming and make this short video for you because I know that some of you are going to find this super helpful. But before we dive in, make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you want to be notified each week that a sassy doctor is out here trying to give you content to improve your health, uplift your spirits, and is not afraid to maybe tell it like it is. My name is Dr. Brandy Rose Lipscomb, and I'm a naturopathic doctor, and I run online programs mostly devoted to people in chronic pain. So I'm going to let you in on a dirty little secret, and you can judge me if you want to. I used to smoke. That's right. On my 18th birthday, someone handed me a pack of cigarettes and I tried them, and I was addicted almost immediately from when I tried those cigarettes. And then I went off to University of Kentucky for college and I dated a tobacco farmer's son. And it was just part of what we did. And it was stupid and I knew it, but it was so hard to quit. But I figured out a way to do it that made it less hard, and that is what I wanted to share with you today. But first of all, why is nicotine so hard to quit? Well, it's all about our neurotransmitters, dopamine and adrenaline. When nicotine hits your bloodstream, it immediately releases a cascade of dopamine and adrenaline into your bloodstream. And adrenaline is your get up and go. It gets your heart rate going, and it makes you feel like you're ready to run from a saber-toothed tiger or take on the world. And dopamine is associated with our feel-good, our reward response system. Dopamine is associated with our willpower and our feeling of happiness. So it's no wonder that it's hard to quit smoking, because here's what happens. You smoke or vape and you get this rush of these feel-good, go-get-em chemicals. Well, that causes those receptor sites in your body to upregulate themselves, meaning now you have more nerve endings that are looking for those neurotransmitters. And quickly after you finish that cigarette, those neurotransmitter receptor sites are left empty. And they are then saying, where's my dopamine? Where's my adrenaline? And I want more, I want more. And so your cells are craving these neurotransmitters. And so you have to smoke more to fill them up again. And then they upregulate. And then you have to smoke more to fill them up again. And it is this chronic cycle where all of a sudden you don't feel like you can feel normal or think normally without that nicotine in your bloodstream, activating those receptors. It's not your fault if you feel like you are in a relationship with nicotine that is really hard to quit. It's true, it is. So what are my recommendations for how to quit smoking? Let's take a look at them. Number one is you have to emotionally decide that you want to quit. And in order to do that, you really have to sit down and look at and think about and feel the consequences of continuing to smoke. You have to attach the emotional reward of quitting smoking to something that is stronger than the chemical emotional reward that your brain is getting from smoking. How do we do that? Think about your funeral, and what if your children or grandchildren are looking down at you thinking, man, he or she really shortened their life because of their choice to stay in a relationship with tobacco. What I wouldn't have given for another year with you. So, that's really harsh, but you know that smoking shortens your life expectancy. You know that cancer is the last thing on earth that you want to deal with. And so let's think about the reward of not having to go down that road. The reward of knowing that you have done what you can to take care of your health so that you have as many beautiful, blissful days as you possibly can with the people that you love in your life. Think about how it feels to have your skin prematurely wrinkled, to have your lungs blackened, to not be able to take a deep breath in, and just to feel like you're not a free person. And then start thinking about the benefits of how wonderful it will be to be able to take a full deep breath and smell things better again and taste things better again and have whiter teeth again. Think about all of those benefits of being able to wake up in the morning and not think about smoking or anything associated with it the entire day, the entire week, the entire year. It is completely, absolutely, totally possible. I don't care how much you smoke. It is possible for you too. So here's how we do it. The first thing you do is you have to get clear emotionally. And if what we've talked about so far isn't enough, then you need to dig deeper and you need to figure out what is your why. You're watching this video, right? Something in you knows that you want to quit smoking. So we get clear emotionally. And the next thing we do is set a date. So look at your calendar and somewhere 3 to 7 days out from where you're at today, be like, that's the day that I'm going to quit smoking. And every day I want you to continue this emotional exercise of thinking about the benefits of quitting and the pain associated with not quitting. You really have to get that super clear in your mind, in your heart, in order to make this an easier process. And on the day that you're quitting smoking, you have to have a little bit of ritual around it. That last vape or that last cigarette, I want you to really be conscious that that is the last one. And you can even, speak to the plant spirit of tobacco and say, man, wow, thanks for the memories. It's been fun while it lasted. This is it. This is where we break up. This is where we say goodbye. And you know what? I don't let the door hit you on the way out. I'm not going to miss you. And you might even need to ask for a little help. Even if you haven't prayed for years, this might be a good time to actually pray to God, to your spirit guides, to Mother Earth, to whatever you believe in, to ask for a little help. Give me some help here. I'm about to do something that is scary, that is hard. And so give me the help that I need, the strength that I need to make this easy, to make this flow, and to make this successful. We all need help sometimes, and there is no harm in asking for a little help from God or your spirit guides, whatever it is that you believe in. And on that night, before you go to bed, I need you to make sure that you get rid of all evidence of smoking. You have gotten rid of your ashtrays, your lighters, and obviously, if you're throwing away that vape pen and there's anything left in it, you need to drown that sucker in oil or water or something first, so that tomorrow or the next day when those cravings hit and you're feeling moody, you can't go get that thing out of the trash and pick it up and smoke it again, because you you know you might be tempted to do that. And even if you smoke and you've got ashes or tobacco kind of strewn around your car or an ashtray in your car, do yourself a favor. That night, before the day before you quit, clean out your car entirely. Get out there and wipe it all down and clean out that ashtray and detail up your car so that the next morning when you get in your car as a non-smoker, you are like, wow, this feels good. This looks good. This feels good on me. Step number 3 is to buy some nicotine patches. So depending upon what kind of smoker or vapor you are, read the labels on the patches. They'll tell you, do you need to start off with like a 21 milligram or a 14 milligram, or are you a light smoker and you just need to get over those last 5 cigarettes a day? Maybe you can start at the 7 milligram patch. But buy some patches. And if you're a heavy smoker, you're gonna need a box of the 21s, a box of the 14s, and a box of the 7s. And here's why. The night that you quit smoking, after your last cigarette or your last vape, I want you to, before you go to bed that night, you're gonna put on your first patch. Why? Because I don't want you to wake up in the morning in a nicotine panic and go run off to the gas station before you go to work and feel like thank God you survived it. I want you to wake up and you still have that nicotine in your system. Yes, you might have some vivid dreams at first when you quit smoking, but that it won't last more than 1 or 2 weeks. And 1 or 2 weeks of some crazy vivid dreams is totally worth the rest of your life being free from tobacco. You're going to put on whatever patch is the right patch for you, 21, 14, or 7 milligram patch. And you're going to wear it 24/7. for about the next 7 days. And if you started with a 21 milligram patch, after 7 days, at night, you're gonna switch down to the 14 milligram patch, a little bit less nicotine at night. And you might try to wear that 14 milligram patch through the morning for a little bit. And if you start to have more intense cravings by 10 a.m., then you need to put on the 21 milligram, the higher patch, by 9 a.m. to make sure that you beat that craving a little bit. So then you might wear your 21 milligram patch from like 9 a.m. until 8 or 9 p.m. And then you put on the 14 milligram patch for the next 12 hours, 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. And so you do that for a couple of days of lower at night and higher during the day when you're awake and craving cigarettes. And after a few days of doing that, you're going to see how much longer in the day can you wear the lower milligram patch. Like if you were using 12 and 12, then you're going to try to wear that 14 milligram patch until noon, and then take off and then put on the 21 milligram patch at noon, and maybe you only wear that until 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. And then you put the 14 milligram patch back on so that you wear the 14 milligram patch for 16 hours a day. And then you wear the 14 milligram patch for 20 hours a day. And maybe if your worst craving is like 3 to 7 o'clock at night, then that's the 4-hour period of time that you wear a 21 milligram patch. And then you are down to just wearing a 14 milligram patch all day long for the next 5 to 7 days. And then you repeat the whole process all over again. 12 hours of the day, you're wearing a 7 milligram patch. 12 hours of the day, when you're awake, you wear the 14. And then you leave the 7 milligram patch on in the morning for a longer period of time. And you only wear that higher milligram patch during the most intense periods of cravings. Now it's the 7 milligram patch during the day. And then the next step is, after about 5 to 7 days of wearing the 7 milligram patch, you're going to take that off and not wear it at night, so that you wake up and you put your patch on, and then by 8 p.m. you take it off. And then you're going to wake up and you're not going to put that patch on until maybe 10 a.m. And then maybe you're going to take it off by 6 p.m. So you're only wearing the patch for 8 hours a day. And then you're going to figure out the 4 hours of your day that are your most intense craving time. And you're only going to wear a patch, a 7 milligram patch, during those 4 hours of the day. And you might spend another 3 or 4 days with that pattern. And then if you've been able to go for 3 to 5 to 6 days, only wearing a 7 milligram patch for 3 to 4 hours, then you're ready. Big, deep breath and set the date that you are going to be nicotine free. And it might be 1 or 2 months after you've started this process of slowly stepping down on the patch system. But trust me, this is so much easier for your brain chemistry than it is to go cold turkey, or than it is to go straight from 7 milligram patch 24 hours a day to all of a sudden nothing. So I hope that this kind of makes sense to you, that you can do this stepwise reduction and it doesn't have to be so painful. It doesn't have to hurt. It can be easy to quit smoking and walk your body through this process while you're quitting smoking. The first day, even after you've quit smoking, I want you to start rewarding yourself with a walk in the evening. And during that walk, I want you to breathe in through your nose as deeply as possible and notice that even after 1 day of not smoking, you can already smell more things out in the world. And I want you to enjoy flavors. I want you to make sure that you are cooking with herbs and spices and giving yourself some beautiful, wonderful flavors, because food is going to taste better to you. If you're worried about gaining weight because you quit smoking, you have to exercise. That's why that evening walk is going to be so important. Reward yourself with a gym membership. Reward yourself with a series of visits to a sauna, because sweating is going to help you with that detoxification process. And you're going to feel so much better as soon as you start that process. Trust me. I want you to reward yourself with taking a nice hot bath. If you enjoy baths, fill it full of essential oils that smell wonderful. Buy yourself some fancy bath bombs. Do some things that are lovely and calming and rewarding to your nervous system. If you've gone for 2 weeks and you haven't had a smoke, reward yourself with a massage. Reward yourself with something that makes you feel really good. A night out to the movies, a special dinner, anything that makes you feel like you have, like you really deserve this wonderful reward. And a week after you've gone completely nicotine free for 7 days, reward yourself with a special trip. Go somewhere for a weekend. Go book a fancy non-smoking hotel room somewhere and celebrate the decadence of being a non-smoker and how wonderful it feels to be in that environment. And while you're quitting smoking, I want you to fill your brain with as much positive reinforcement as you can. You can do a simple search on free books on quitting smoking and you'll find all kinds of resources out there. There's free Audible books, and then there are a few books that are really worth getting even if you have to pay a little bit for them. Listen to You're a Badass by Jen Sincero, or Good Morning Monster, or Rewire Your Brain, or Becoming Supernatural. There are so many books out there. Or go to YouTube. And, if you search here on YouTube, free resources on quitting smoking, affirmations to quit smoking, meditations to quit smoking, and listen to them on repeat while you're on your way to work, while you're on your evening walk. You need to fill your day with resources that reaffirm and support your decision to quit smoking. I promise you, the mindset work that you do and the mindset thoughts that you flood your brain with are going to be instrumental in helping you quit. And I know that you can do this. So if you've enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like on this video and leave me a comment below. Did you quit smoking? How did you quit successfully? Have you been wanting to quit smoking? And do you think this approach might actually work for you? Leave us a comment. Let us know your intentions. I want to support you in your journey towards optimal health, happiness, and pain freedom, whatever that looks like. So thanks again for watching, and I wish you optimal health, happiness, and pain freedom in all of your days. See you next time.